Hi, in today's session, we're going to be talking about systemizing and the things that you should be doing to make things a lot easier for you and so that you can work on the business and not in the business. So let's get straight into it. Lots of people that get involved in property like to get stuck in and generally never really release themselves from the business. And they find themselves working in the business as opposed to on the business. Now, today I'm going to be talking about systemizing your business, and let's look at it from a lettings point of view. Let's look at it from the point of view where if you're self-managing, how you can still self-manage but do it from a hands-off approach, and how you can systemize it to a point where it becomes almost like having your own letting team and being fully in control as opposed to out of control. Now, I don't know about you, but if you've been using a letting agency previously, you may have had a really bad experience, or you may have had a really good experience. It's very rare that you have a mediocre experience with a letting agent. They're either really good or really bad. So the ones that are really good are the ones that go way out and above and beyond to make sure that your property is occupied, well managed, well maintained, and it goes extremely well. The ones that are really bad generally have let the property run down into the ground and also made sure that you've got lots of vacancies a lot of the time. Does that ring a bell? If it does, put a hand up and say, yeah, you know what, that's me. But what I've been doing for almost like for the last 10 years is systemizing it so that I still self-manage it, but the business is not running me. I'm actually running the business. And I'm going to talk to you about a few of the systems that I've got in place. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is because, you know, when you give your property to a letting agency, I'm not bad-mouthing letting agencies, and it might come across like I am, but you've got to remember that you're not their only client. They're probably managing hundreds of other properties for hundreds of other clients. So how can they really give your property the time and the attention that it deserves? Now, if your property has got a vacant room and someone else's property has got a vacant room, which one do they show? Do they show the one that's better? Do they show the one that's, in better condition, lower in price, the one that's generating higher fees? You just don't know. The only time you get to hear about it is whether the room is occupied or whether it's vacant. Now, what I've been doing is self-managing properties, and I have self-managed throughout the whole process of my property journey for over the last 22 years. And with over 1,100 tenants, some of you are thinking, how is that possible? And I've created systems so that it's allowed me to do that. And I'm going to share a couple of systems with you today. First one is get yourself a virtual assistant. And the reason why I say virtual assistant, or even a physical assistant, so you can have a person that comes to work with you, which then becomes a member of your staff, or you can have someone that works in a different country, and these people can be anywhere in Poland, they can be in India, they can be in the Philippines, and I prefer to use guys in the Philippines. I've been testing them for quite a few years, and I like the mentality of the people in the Philippines. I really get along with the people in the Philippines. In actual fact, the person that's edited this podcast, guess where they're from? They're from the Philippines. So I outsource a lot of my tasks to people in the Philippines. I've got people that's doing my bookkeeping in the Philippines. I've got people that does editing for my YouTube and my podcast in the Philippines. I've got people that assist me with the background of my work in the Property Investor app in the Philippines. In actual fact, I've only got one physical member of staff in the UK. All the rest of my staff are all outsourced in different parts of the world, should I say. So let's go back to the letting of a property. Just imagine that I've got a HMO, a 6-bedroom HMO, and as an example, I've got 2 rooms vacant. Now, the first thing that I do, I outsource the task so that I get my virtual assistants, or VA, as we'll call them in this podcast. So I'll get my VA to upload the listing onto places like Open Rent, Spare Room, Gumtree, and lots of other platforms. And what we're doing is that hopefully you've got a library of videos or library of photos of the property that they can upload, and they've got historic listing information about the property. They then upload the property. Now, off the back of that, you're going to get lots of inquiries, and what you want to do is create templates of messages so that when someone inquires about it, the virtual assistant or the VA can respond so that you're not physically having to go in and respond yourself. Because when, I don't know about you, but when I upload a property, I get an influx of messages immediately. So, within the first 48 hours, lots of people that have been alerted about the property are interested in it, and they try and jump on it. Now, we take that one step further, because what I've also got is a library of videos of the properties. So let's just imagine that someone now, I've uploaded a property and I've got, let's say, 10 people inquired about it. 10 people want to physically come and view the property. Now, for me, that's a lot of work. Now, if I'm self-managing, I don't really want to go and meet 10 people at the property 10 different times. We could do an open viewing, should we say, and a block viewing. But again, I'm trying to narrow this down as much as possible. So reality is that I only want to do one viewing, one hit, one wonder, literally get the deal done instantly. So what we tend to do is that we say to all the people that have inquired, guys, I'll tell you what we're going to do, we're going to send you a virtual viewing. So we've got a video of the property stored in somewhere like Google Drive, Dropbox, or even like somewhere on YouTube, and we send them the link. Say, what we'd like you to do is watch the video, make sure that you like the video. If you like the video, we then arrange a physical viewing. And off the back of that, the reason why we do that is because the person that's watched that video has already shown an interest in the property. They're now watching it, which means that they're actually liking the property that they see. And the only time that they're now coming to view the property is, in essence, just to verify that the property is a true reflection of the video. And off the back of that, they should be looking to come and sign the contract. All the other people that have viewed it, some of them may turn around and say, well, yeah, the room wasn't as big as we liked it to be, or it hasn't got an ensuite, or it hasn't got this, or it hasn't got that. Or some of them say, we want to move in 4 weeks' time. And I'm saying, well, guys, the room's available immediately. I'll work on a first come, first served basis. So unless you're prepared to reserve it now, it's best that you check in with me 3 weeks down the line. I get lots of people like that. So, Arsh, okay, I've seen the room. I really like the room, but I don't want to move in until the first week of October. Can you hold it for me? And I'm not going to but I'm not going to hold out for a month. I'm not going to lose out on the month's rent just because they've not gave notice to their current landlord. So we work on a first come, first served basis. And what we've done, we've got these as templates so that the VA, the virtual assistant, sends these messages. So now I'm only liaising to the one true person that we've shortlisted. So we've gone from 10, we've sent out the videos to 10, we've answered a load of questions, we've narrowed it down to 5, we've now brought it down to 3. In essence, we're going down to 1. And this one person has got everything that we need them to have. They've got the pay slips, they've got the bank statements, they've passed the affordability test, they've liked the property, they like everything, they've got the funds to go. And in essence, this is our process for letting the property. And this has all come down to systemising it. And I do lots of systems to make sure that my HMOs and my properties run effectively. So I just spoke to you about one system that we have just for letting a room. And this is all done virtually before we even physically meet the person. Now, if they've liked the video, they then come and physically view it. After that, the virtual assistant then sends them a list of more information that we need to get the tenancy agreement created. So the tenancy agreement is done electronically. We use a program called Signable. It then goes to both parties to sign electronically. It's then sent to them via email or WhatsApp. And then off the back of that, we then get them to arrange either a caretaker or a cleaner to collect the keys. So really, it's done in a very fast pace and with minimal effort from me as the landlord or the owner. But guess what? I'm still self-managing. Now, moving on, how do I maintain the HMO? How do I manage the HMO successfully? Now, I'm not physically going to go and walk around every single HMO every week because, again, that's time intensive. So what we've got is we've got a caretaker who goes round and checks the HMOs once a week. So he goes on a Monday, and on that Monday, his responsibility is that he has to take a load of photos externally, internally. He checks all the light bulbs, he checks that there's no fire hazards. He also takes a photo of the fire alarm panel to make sure that there's no lights or to make sure that it's all in good working order. He can even test the panel if he wishes. As well as that, he makes sure that all the bins are out for the right days. He also sweeps the front of the property to make sure that there's no leaves. I've got a pet hate against leaves, don't know why, but we always make sure that the front of the properties all remain, very clean, because if there's leaves outside, when tenants walk in, they take the leaves in with them, which causes more mess. So the caretaker goes and makes sure that every day, every Monday, he goes and checks to make sure that there's no obstructions, everything's working fine, bulbs are working fine, and he also liaises with some of the tenants, make sure that there's no issues within the property. He then feeds back to me, so he takes a load of photos, he uploads them to somewhere like a Google Drive, Dropbox, or even sends them to me via WhatsApp and say, Arsh, here's the properties, no issues, or if there are any issues, like today, he sent me a picture of a bed frame that has been broken, that's been left in the hallway. He says, shall we dispose of it? I said, yes, please. So he's got rid of that. Now, off the back of that, moving forward, so we've got caretaker that goes on a Monday. Now, we've also then got our cleaner that goes in every week on a Wednesday or a Thursday. So across all the properties, they'll be in at different various times of the week. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it could be. And then she does the same thing. So she will go and she'll take pictures of the property before she's cleaned it and pictures after she's cleaned it, so that I can see that the property has been well maintained. Again, she's looking out for telltale signs of any damage, any lights that are out of order, any issues within the property, any fire hazards, anything within place. And again, she's very meticulous with regards to details, like if tenants are leaving plates, dishes in the sink, she makes sure that she takes photos. And again, she's involved in some of the group WhatsApps or the house WhatsApp groups, and she'll say, guys, whose is this? Why is it here? Why is it not being cleaned up? She's almost like acting like a mum to some of the houses, and believe it or not, it really works. And so these are some of the systems that we've got in place. And this is all with very little interaction from me. In essence, I'm just overseeing everything. The worst that I'm doing is I'm reading messages and I'm just checking to see. And if there's something that's really bad, that's where I'll interject. But to be fair, there's been very few times where I've had to deal with something quite severe. So it really works. So my question to you is, what systems have you got in place? And as well as that, guys, you can also get your cleaners to make sure, little things like lights are switched off, especially now where energy bills and prices are increasing. You've got to make sure that you stay on top of that. The caretaker does exactly the same. We've got systems in place to make sure that lights aren't on. So we use microwave sensor lights, where they've got a built-in PIR, which is a passive infrared receiver. I hope that's right. And so it gives you 30 seconds for the lights to be on, and then after 30 seconds, unless someone's still there and it moves, then the lights will come on again. And this is what stops our energy bills from soaring. So I don't like it when tenants walk in, they turn the light on, and then they just leave the light on. They go into their room and they leave the light on all night. That doesn't happen in any of our HMOs. So we've got lots of systems in place, but you've got to make sure that you've got these all in place so that you can live almost like a hassle-free landlord, but you're still managing it. You're still self-managing it. You're still maintaining high occupancy level. You're still ensuring that everything is in place. Now, going back to my virtual assistant, when it comes to rent collection, because they've set up the tenancies, they've also got the dates of when the tenancies or the tenants are due to pay their rent. So they check in with they can even check in on the bank if you want them to do, to check to see if the rent has been received. If not, they liaise with the tenants. So in essence, you've built yourself a little mini in-house lettings team, but without you having to be involved. So there we have it, guys. There's a few of the systems that I got in place. And by just implementing a few of these, you'll see how easy your life can become. And more importantly, how much time you've bought back yourself. And not to mention how much more, let's face it, you've bought back your own sanity, shall we say. That's the best way of describing it. So hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you enjoyed the tips and hints. Any questions, please feel free to reach out. You can go to my website, which is arshalahi.com, www.systemise.co.uk/contact. It is sponsored by the Property Investor app, which is the UK's first property investment platform, which showcases all kinds of deals all over the UK. Whether that be a below market value deal, a rent-to-rent deal, a lease option deal, we've got them all there. Go to our website, which is propertyinvestorapp.co.uk, or if you've got a smartphone, go to the App Store, type in Property Investor and download it from there. Now, if you want to connect with me on social media, you can do so. You can find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, Clubhouse, as well as TikTok, all under the handle of Arsh. Hopefully you really enjoyed the episode, and I look forward to speaking to you all very soon. Thank you, and bye-bye.